What up, YouTube? I am back with another pregame. I got two more guests this week. Y'all already know them. Cowboy Nations, Knicks, and I got Tuck.
Yeah, what's good?
Yeah, we actually gonna jump right into it. I mean, I always start with what you think are the special team keys this week, Knicks.
You say special teams or special keys?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still stuck with these daggum special teams. We done miss another extra point. Boy, it's driving me crazy. Right. I can't help it. Oh, right. Special teams. But I mean, as far as keys go, as far as we're talking about getting into keys, man, it's that front, right? This is gonna be the best front that we faced since Tampa, right? So how are we going to handle that? Obviously, we didn't have Zach Martin against Tampa. But this week, obviously, Zach Martin's back in the fold. Now you got Steele out there, instead of Collins. So, we got to wait and see. I mean, this is a young, hungry, fast defense that we're facing this week. They fly around. They like to blitz a lot, right? Mm-hmm. So we got to see how we're going to compound that and how we're going to attack that. But, yeah, the defensive front, man, for sure jumps off for me right away when we're talking about Carolina.
Yeah, I agree with Knicks. I feel like this is going to be a game where it comes down to the war of the trenches on both sides. Mm-hmm. I feel like on the offensive side of the ball, it's stopping that front seven. They like to blitz. They're young. They're hungry. They have different schemes, and they get a lot of pressure with Jones, in the interior as well. And so it might be a situation where Tyler Biadasz might have a long day and possibly Connor Williams. And so, running that up front battle versus
mm-hmm.
Is that
ain't me? Somebody got a game going in the background? Is that Ellen, you got a game going? That's what it was. I think I got a game going in the background.
I was like, what's going on?
Yeah, look, I'm banging. Hold on, let me turn that down.
I thought I was tripping, man.
It happens. It happens for sure. But yeah, I mean, right with you there, though, Tuck. I mean, one of the things that I like about this game, right, is Dak versus the blitz. Like, 40% of the time he's completing not just passes when he's getting blitzed. We're talking about 40% of the time he's completing for first downs versus the blitz. So maybe this is a game where Kellen and Dak get back to cooking maybe a little bit more, like week one dependent. But, you got to try the young studs up front, especially with Zach Martin back in the fold and especially Steele, right? Steele's shown a little bit of a run blocker, punishing some guys in the run block now than he is in pass pro. So you got to test that young line with this running game and this two-headed monster for sure. But, they want to bring the blitz. Hey, boy, Dak's getting that ball out quick, man. It'll be interesting because you got a top 10 offense, you got a top 10 defense basically kind of coming together here in their first place in the NFC South, and we're first place in the NFC East, into week 4. What a matchup. And interesting to see who's going to make who bend their will, right? It's going to be like, are the Cowboys going to force them, and make their defense change, or is their defense going to make our offense change? I think that's very key early on in this game.
Yeah, I also agree with that, man, as well. I think that this game plan, if I had to gauge it, I think it's going to similar to more of what we saw versus Tampa week 1. Now, I don't think they're going to go fully away from Zeke and also Tony Pollard, but I think it's going to be more of the aerial attack until maybe they dial it back a little bit. But I think that they're going to come out guns blazing, which, like you said, Dak Prescott versus the blitz, I'll take that matchup all day, and especially with having J.C. Horn out, I feel like our wide receivers can definitely take advantage of their secondary because I feel like that's their weak spot is out on the outside because I know they're going to have I think A.J. Bouye is going to be one of
Boujay's coming back. Yeah, Boujay's coming back. Henderson.
Not sure about Henderson.
Yeah, I don't know. What's that, Elton?
Yeah. Is C.J. Henderson playing this week for him?
I think it's still up in the air, but I haven't heard that he's going to be back.
It depends on how quickly he gets acclimated. I don't, me personally, I don't expect to see a ton of him, but, maybe he's a nickel, maybe some nickel situations they use him, maybe some dime. I don't know exactly how acclimated he's going to be to their defense to get out there on the field, especially because, Bouye coming back, right? So that's going to be the big key for them. So they don't really have to rush him. They can let him get comfortable before he gets out there with Bouye.
Hey, welcome to the team, man. Here's Amari Cooper. Have at it.
Oh, no, you don't like Amari Cooper? Where's CeeDee Lamb? Here.
Lamb, yeah, man. Go ahead, do your thing, man.
Could you imagine Gallup back in a few weeks?
Yeah, get Gallup back in a few weeks as well, man. So, I think that's from the Cowboys' perspective, is like seeing what we've seen thus far, being able to kind of manage all of these injuries. And we're only going to slowly start to get better as the season progresses. I mean, you add Kelvin Joseph, you add DeMarcus Lawrence, you add Gallimore, you add Tristan Hill, which we finally heard about, had Tristan Hill sighting today. You add Michael Gallup back to the fold. We got Malik Turner back. And so you're starting to see. Yeah, Lyle Collins. I mean, Donovan Wilson. So, it's going to be really interesting to see how this whole thing unfolds, because now it's like, I'm not sure what we're going to do with the Donovan Wilson, because me personally, J-Ron Curse has been playing lights out. When DeMarcus Lawrence comes back, what do you do with Parsons? Do you just push him back? And so there's going to be a lot of interesting storylines we definitely got to keep our eyes on once things unfold. I mean, even from the standpoint of Gallimore coming back, like, I kind of like what else has been doing. So, hold on, bro. So it's going to be interesting to see what Dan Quinn does moving forward. But I think it's only going to help us as the season progresses to have this added depth come back.
Think about this. We have versus the Chargers, we was out 7 starters. Yeah. Years past, that actually was a death wish.
Yeah. Cliff.
Two starters used to be a death wish, man. Sean Lee out, that was it.
And Elton, and I think,
out kiss of death.
And I think, I've kind of come to this kind of a mindset, because I mean, the floating question, right? And me and Tuck have talked about this before, his channel, our channel. And the floating question, it's kind of been like, well, what does McCarthy exactly do? Right? What does he do? Because it's killing with the offense, and okay, well, it's Quinn over here with his defense. What is he really doing? And I think a lot of it is what you just kind of mentioned, Elton, is like, man, I mean, we're missing starters left and right on both sides of the ball, and he's not allowing the temperament in the building to fall, if you will, and cause us, okay, well, guys, well, we're just going to line up. It is what it is. Go on 3 and do our best. And we knew, I mean, there's a day of, Sean Lee's out, guys. All right, well, scratch it. It's an L. I mean, it was literally like that at one point. And Mike McCarthy has kind of instilled, what's about culture changing at times with this team. And I think that's part of it as well. It's like he's instilled that culture of like, hey, look, it doesn't matter who's out here. We got to go out here and play and win. And I think, some of that was installed last year. We go back to the with the watermelon bashing and different things. This is late into the year. He's like, hey, we're still playing for something here, and kind of set the tone for those guys that were still here this year. Like, no. Just because we're missing somebody, we still go out here and do our thing. So we're seeing not the drop off like we used to see, the cliff, as I'd like to call it, when we missed 1 or 2 starters. And the other side of that too, unlike the previous regime, they're not scared to play young players. In the last regime, they would draft people, but they just wouldn't play them, right? I mean, you think about Taco, and he couldn't get Burns, right? And you think about Tristan Hill, he couldn't get Burns. And they were just very scared. Jordan Lewis, early on when he first got here as a 3rd-round pick, wasn't getting Burns. So they were very scared to play the younger guys at times. And man, it's a young man's game, and McCarthy's all about playing these young guys. And look, and I've already had to own this. I was like, I get it. We drafted 8 guys on defense, right? We drafted 8 guys on defense. However, you look at the history of the draft, I mean, all these guys are just not going to be on here and help us. Oh, allow Knicks to shut the hell up real quick, Dan Quinn. I see you over there, because Chauncey showed up and played well this week, finally getting on there. We're seeing Osa. We haven't seen our 2nd-round pick yet. We got all these other guys that are coming in here. So salute to them and how they've done that. And I think that's Mike McCarthy's willingness to allow young guys to play, and setting the tone last year. Watermelons be damned, whatever it was, saying, hey, I don't care who's in this building. We got a job. We're going to go win, and that's what I'm here to do.
And I think the crazy part about what you said, Nick, is that, when we looked at this draft in a nutshell, we thought the corners would be the one that would be contributing the most out of this class outside of Parsons, but they're still the 2 that's been remained to be unseen. And so we've seen Jabril. We even saw Chauncey. We've seen Osa. So the list goes on, but we just haven't seen these 2 corners. And so, once Boss Man and Nashawn Wright find their footing, maybe, I think it's going to be up for here. Maybe. Now the only one's going to play. Maybe. I'm pulling for Boston.
If Bossman could come in there and give us, anything like Osa's given us, or I mean, obviously Parsons, right? If he's anywhere within that stratosphere of what they've been able to give us,
it gets scary.
Defense gets scary, and it's scary young too, right? And then maybe you start talking about, the old young Legion of Boom, as Dan Quinn kind of sprinkled in here and done this again, right? So, and kudos to him too, because Dan Quinn was a big zone guy. Guys, we're playing man over 60% of the time right now.
Mhm.
And it came out that, I don't know if y'all heard this or not, like he came to Dallas, he didn't bring a playbook. Right? Dan Quinn didn't bring a playbook. They came in, he got with everybody, they looked at what they had, and they went and built it from there from the players that was here. And I was like, oh, how ingenious, my guy. Who's here? What can we do? Let's figure it out. So just another one of the little things and layers of what's been going on here and why we've seen such a rapid turn on this defense, even though, as both of you guys just mentioned, I mean, we're missing 4 or 5 starters, whether it's Wilson, Law, Gregory had to miss a game.
Even just go across the defensive line with Watkins out. I mean,
Watkins, George Armstrong now, right? Exactly.
Last week, I'm like, damn.
Right.
But if you think about it, because last year was a blessing because a lot of players who wouldn't have played got to play. Because look at Terrence Steele, he is a complete 360 from last year. I remember when it was like, yeah, he is going to be the right tackle. I was like, oh shit, Dak's getting killed this week.
Right.
He's a complete 360 from preseason, even, guys.
Yeah, because that was my concern. Is because granted, I always want to give someone a chance to leap forward and take a step forward in the offseason, but watching him in camp in preseason, like I wasn't seeing no improvement, bro. Because everyone was like, "Oh, we can give Terrence a chance." I'm like, based off of what? But Terrence has played decent thus far. Now, I think he's going to be challenged a lot more this matchup because he's going to get a lot of things thrown his way. But thus far, man, I have no complaints about Terrence Steele, which brings in an interesting question that if Terrence Steele is solid, do you possibly move on from Lyle and try to get a different piece?
Nah, I'm not going to do that.
But I mean, because Lawell hasn't been dependable, man. And so, would you move on from Lyle if you can bring in just another veteran center? Let's say that.
Yeah, I mean, it's yeah. I hate having these conversations right now, but but they're valid, right? Obviously, this is something we're going to look at towards the end of the season, the off season. I hate having these conversations just because. Man, I don't want to rock the boat. I'm like, hey, man, things are good. Let's ride the vibe. But, with La'el Collins and what's going on, I think I'll take the temperament of this. Now I think no matter what happens to La'el Collins, we're okay for the rest of the year. Whether it's another injury, whatever happens. And, maybe the other cool side about this too, once La'el comes back, I don't want to put it on the air about left tackle, but if something was to happen, it doesn't feel like it would be the end of the world anymore. Right, like maybe we're okay enough to survive that as long as it's not long term. But now, when you get to the off season, now, Tuck, yeah, I mean, we know how Steven works.
Right.
we know how Steven.
I just feel like the way that this offensive line has been constructed and been playing thus far, if we can just get that centerpiece, because I mean, I was high on Tyler. I know you were.
Yeah, I was too.
But it's just like it's just not coming working.
Yeah.
And once we start to get in those, that playoff contention and play those type of caliber teams, you're going to need a much better player at that center spot. And so
I don't even think he's played bad. It is just the plays are very noticeable when he doesn't. You're like, oh,
but yeah. But think about it. I mean, in order to get to what we're trying.
Are you talking early Connor Williams treatment? Like, it wasn't that Connor was terrible. It's just when he's bad.
It is very noticeable. And I always tell people this. You don't get better at football on the bench. Let him go out there and then play. It's the only way he's going to get better. You don't get better at football on the bench.
Yeah. Yeah, and here's the thing, right? And probably the thing that maybe concerns me the most, and I haven't heard or read anything about it since then, but week 1, it was almost like, well, Connor McGovern was kind of giving the line calls and whatever. It wasn't Tyler Badaz doing it from the center position. So is it, maybe it's Martin now. Now, obviously, I'm not going to bring that up if Martin's doing it, obviously, because it's Zach Martin. But yeah, I mean, just the development of him. And again, I mean, look, Tyler hasn't played a whole season yet. He was a rookie last year. What did he play? 4 games, Tuck, I think is what it was, right?
Yeah.
Was it 4 or 5? 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
So he's like 7 games into his career. So you want to see the development. The
thing that really hurts having this conversation is that we sat on our hands with Joe Looney, and I feel like that would be an easy solution if we would have had him, But it's like I feel like maybe I'm thinking further down the road, but you're gonna have to go through Vita Vea to get to where you want to go. You're gonna have to go through the Aaron Donalds and these type of players to get to where we want to go.
Right.
And can Tyler really anchor that? As of what I'm seeing thus far, I don't know. So if you're able to kind of move and get that last little offensive infinity stone, we'll see. But maybe he'll be ready. But maybe he'll be ready by then. But
I actually think half the problem with our fan base, we actually want everybody to be an all-pro. He ain't that
well, yeah, no. I mean, look, I'm not asking to be all pro. Wait, whoa.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not asking him to be, Travis Frederick. And I think some of the stuff is going to come down because they both played in Wisconsin, right? So on and so forth.
Right.
And it seems like Connor, I've eased up on Connor. I mean, I don't like the 3 holding calls he had this week. I mean, look, if for what it's worth, I mean, the Eagles have 2 stud defensive tackles as well, to be honest, right? When Hargreaves and Cox, right?
Cox, right.
So, and we ran the ball pretty well efficiently against them, right? 5.5 for Paul or for Zeke and 5.6 for Pollard. So, I mean, they did a good enough job, but you just want to see a little bit more from the center position is special, right? Especially here in Dallas, and that things are going on a little bit more. Not an all pro, but can we get you, can we get you just a little bit better? So when we need that yard to get, and kind of what sucks, when we need that 2 yards against Vita Vea, I can rely on Tyler to help dig him up out of that hole and let us get that crease to get it there. Now, you ain't got to go be, Mark Stepnoski of the world that we used to have way back when or nothing like that. But can you just can you get to that point where you can move? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you go back and watch the Bucs tape, I mean, there was no reason to run the ball up that middle because he would just been running into Vita Vea's stomach. You're like, oh, hey, Zeke, how you doing? Here, come. Let's lay down together. So we just need that movement from him. A little bit more strength, maybe.
Because I ended up going back and looking back at the strip damn touchdown. That actually was a lot on Connor Williams because he blocked that play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you talking about the Zeke Dak over the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, which somebody explained to me how that, I mean, I still don't understand how they reviewed that and it wasn't a touchdown. But
yeah,
I mean,
I was so confused because of course I was at the game, but what were they saying? Like, what did they, like the announcer say during that? Because every angle, no knee touching, like I don't get it.
Actually said they actually couldn't find enough video evidence to overturn. Because
the sideline view clearly shows the ball. It went over the line twice, but hey, they didn't want us to 50 ball the Eagles.
Man, this is why I'm like, just get rid of instant replay. If y'all can't get the obvious stuff right, I mean, I just feel like sometimes
honestly, even though I actually knew it was a touchdown, they actually never gave you a good view on TV that it actually went over the goal line. So I was like, they ain't going to overturn it. Even though it's clearly a touchdown, it always was bad camera views from the side. We actually got a better view after the game.
This summer I got into soccer, and you kick the ball and it barely goes across the goal line. They have a chip inside the ball. They'll say,
crazy.
It crossed here. They'll track everything. They ain't got to do nothing, man. But hey,
Yeah, multi-billion-dollar organization. We can't figure out how to get a camera right over the top for the referees.
Right.
They don't even know.
Shout out to Vegas. Vegas.
They don't even know pass interference, so you don't expect them to do that.
Right. Big facts.
But breaking down their our defense versus their offense. To me, it's about DJ Moore this week.
Mm-hmm.
I am having
especially like Christian McCaffrey's out, so DJ Moore, Diggs, go follow him. Let's do what we need to do.
Right.
Because
I feel like you can. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, because if you look at it, Darnold isn't even throwing it to Robbie Anderson. It is like they got beef. I actually looked today. He only throwing it to him 10 times in 3 games.
Yeah, basically just as deep. She takes deep shots with him. Pretty much everything underneath is going to other people. Although part of the CJ Henderson trade, they did get rid of his tight end though, and Dan Arnold. So that's going to be intriguing how they handle their tight end situation coming up this week and for the rest of the season. But yeah, that underneath stuff, you're right though. DJ Moore is definitely who he's going to be keying in on and doing most of the work. Intermediate. And I mean, he'll get behind you too. Don't get me wrong, but the intermediate stuff, you're definitely right there. Oh, that's a great stat that you pulled 10 times, and I guarantee you probably 8 out of those 10 for Anderson are just deep shots because he's the speedster to take it over the top.
Right.
And
which
like
Anthony Brown can't allow.
Yeah, I actually like Chuba Purdy at OK State, but looking at that O-line there, O-line isn't that good.
Yeah, whoever. I mean, I know this kind of mid conversation. I don't think Randy Gregory practiced today, but someone's Cam Irving, let them go eat. Parsons go eat a little bit. Then once you fool, Randy Gregory go on that side and go eat a little bit. And so, just like we're saying about with their defense versus our offensive line, it is going to definitely reflect on the opposite side of the ball. I feel like creating pressure, different blitz packages, and sending heavy pressure at Donald where he's uncomfortable and he has to make another read outside of DJ Moore. It plays right into our favor. So, yeah, I'm all for having Diggs shadow Moore, do what you got to do, take him out of it. I know they got Terrence Marshall, but he's still kind of green as well. So I feel like our defense will fare well against this offense. Now we can't let Hubbard have a breakout game. And start he's capable of doing it.
And they got Royce Freeman who can get busy too. Royce Freeman can get busy too.
Right, and Royce Freeman as well. And so so you can't let them, start getting any momentum. But I feel like the Cowboys defensively should be perfectly fine, continue up the trends of getting pressure, also getting turnovers, and let our offense do its thing.
This is the game you don't want Robbie Anderson running down past Anthony Brown.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Facts.
Right. Because those big plays can change things.
Because that actually was the backbreaking play versus the Jets 2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. I think for me too, another key is that offensive coordinator they got over there, and Joe Brady, from LSU, right? We kind of know what he's done coming from LSU, what he's doing now with Carolina, right? And I think we really haven't been tested on the ground, guys. Defensively, I mean, just look at the stats. Now 11 runs from Tampa. They started hot. They started hot in LA. The Chargers did, but then they kind of peeled off of that. I mean, dear God, the Eagles basically gave up on running the ball, early. They got down and they just abandoned it. So I do wonder why, if this game is tight or early on, how much they're really going to test this run defense, knowing and seeing what Parsons has been doing, knowing Gregory's there, seeing Osa kind of come on in this pass rush, how much they're going to really try to pound that rock with the Rook and with Royce Freeman against us as well.
But actually like us up the middle this year. I like Osa, I like Urban, and I like and I like Bohannon. It was like last year the DTs was like, come on through. We don't need to do nothing today. You can just run up here today.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's a testament to what Nick said earlier about Dan Quinn, just coming in, knowing the ingredients that he has, and just allowing him to cook from scratch and build things up. And so I think things are simplified for this team. You're seeing a lot of the team speed, play a lot faster, use their instincts, and make plays on the ball. And so I think it's a testament to Dan Quinn and his staff for turning this defense around as quickly as we've seen it thus far. I mean, there's still a lot of work to do, but from right now, what I've seen this far, I'm happy and excited, to be honest with you. I mean, if Osa could promise me he's not going to change his number, man, he's Jersey buying worthy, man. I don't trust anybody no more, man. I don't trust him, man. Yeah.
I am damn waiting on the Dig 7 jersey. I'm like, come on.
They said they're not going to have them until next year. The pro shop said they're going to be out of those in Parsons until next year.
But it's just weird because the shop in the mall, not the pro shop, the other shop, it was like Z Sports or something like that. They actually had Parsons 11s.
Did they?
Yeah.
I looked online. They had all smalls, man. So I have to lose about 40 pounds to get in one. So
the way your workout set up, so that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, it ain't gonna happen.
Guns out over there with Tuck.
The crop top, man.
Yeah.
They have to create a jersey.
Yeah, I think that's what you're gonna have to do, man, for all of these rookies because they're just not available.
Yeah, facts. I mean, you couldn't even find the Jalen 9. You can find the Jalen 54, but you couldn't even find the Jalen 9 in either the pro shops or anything. So, yeah, it looks like that's something to be, like you said, on the next year's docket for sure.
Which is surprising for Jerry. He missing out on money, bro.
I'm like, I was like, bro.
Jerry and Charlotte, are they aware of this? Like,
yeah, I'm like, bro, the Parsons. But what? Them Parsons have been going. Look, I'm telling you, because when we was in the mall, they had 2X's and under, but they were running out of 2X's, and they only had whites in the Parsons. Dude, there was 2 guys on ladders, and there was people lined up, and they were just pulling them down, down. And I was like, let's go shoot over to the pro shop. It's all good, baby. We went to the pro shop. I was like, oh, huh. I was like, well, the pro shop at the mall, baby, they'll have them. Well, it was like,
nah. The pro shop at the damn stadium.
Well, that's some clean now. Now the pro shop at the mall, or not the mall, but at the stadium, man. Boy, they had some clean. A little too warm still. Boy, they had some clean Nike dry fit long sleeve.
Every damn time I go in the pro shop at the stadium, I almost lose $300 to $400.
I get you. That's why I'm going there.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah. I bought that. Yeah. I've been trying to get them victory hoodies, man, but I guess those are
players only, man.
Yeah, players only, yeah. Or maybe Cowboys fans.
I was about to say, it smells like an opportunity here.
Right.
But looking at our offense versus their defense, because me and Tuck was talking about it in the back. Mm-hmm. This is a real fast defense. They may not have played great offenses, but speed is speed.
Yeah, they're young and fast, man. I mean, they were like us last year. They drafted nothing but defense, last year. And I mean, and you talk about like the Shaq Thompson, excuse me, Shaq Thompson, former safety playing linebacker. Whoa, where we heard that before, and drafts moving forward. I mean, yeah, they're fast. That facts.
Yeah.
Because I think Brown is really their only beef on defense. Because this is a light defense, but it is fast.
Right.
I mean,
Burns out there from Florida State.
Florida State as well doing his thing. Yeah, I mean, again, and they blitz, and it's not like they blitz from everywhere. Like it's not like, oh well, we're just blitzing a linebacker here, there. No, I mean they'll send a corner, they'll send a safety. So I'm very intrigued by them. As much as they've blitzed so far this season, now albeit against maybe we would call them inferior, quarterbacks versus who they're going to face, this week. How much they're going to change that game plan of the blitz? Are they going to be more stick to their guns and do what they do, or are they going to dial it back? And that's kind of what we've seen so far, right? So the Bucs said, "Hey, we're coming after Dak and everybody early on," and then they had kind of to adjust. With their front, but they were kind of sitting with their front, and then the second that they tried to start sending people at Dak, and he still was kind of cooking them. You got rid of the Chargers. Hey, man, we're playing too deep. Y'all got to run it. We kind of got to the Eagles. They kind of set back in a little bit too deep as well. And, the Cowboys kind of taking. So it's going to be intriguing to see how they move around and what they do. Whether they sit back or they're going to come up and come after them.
All it's going to take them to do is get clipped once. If we clip them once, they sit on that pressure, and all of a sudden Dak hits them over the top, they're gonna be like, all right, we're not playing the Jets, bro. It's backing on up. But I mean, if you go back and watch the film when they played the Saints, man, I mean, and Sean Payton, they had Jameis confused out there. And so, he played a horrible game. That's a testament to their defense. Like I said, the speed is just cranked up when you watch this young core. Because like I said, they did what we did this year. Just rebuild your defense, completely come in and revamp it, and let these young boys come out there and eat.
This is the type of game you actually want Gallup for.
Mm-hmm. Understandable.
Because if they blitz in, Gallup is the deep threat, which is what I was telling somebody earlier in one of the groups. I'm like, you don't trade Gallup. I'm like, what? The most you're going to get for Gallup right now is a third. And damn, if he leaves in free agency, it's a third-round comp pick. You aren't gaining nothing. Now, unless somebody's hungry and wants to run for him, which isn't going to happen because he's a free agent after the season.
Right. Yeah, keep Gallup, man.
Yeah, he is a deep element.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, if you look at it, I feel like cornerback at this point, which is weird saying, is like I feel like that's the only position where I can see it's like if we wanted to push all the chips into the table, we can go get a second corner. Or maybe a center, but I feel like for the most part, man, I like what we have. No, let me say that because Steven might hear me. But I like what I'm seeing Thus far, yeah. Steven almost got me. Like, oh, you like her in-house guy now. But I feel like the cornerback positions are a place we can really go. But hopefully, Bossman can emerge. My biggest concern with Bossman is you're coming off of injuries. It's delayed because he was supposed to be back this game. So they're saying maybe 2 to 3 more weeks. He comes back. Let's say he comes back after the bye, but you still got to play in-house politics with Anthony Brown because at that time, if Anthony Brown's going to continue up his trend, they're not going to replace him for Kelvin Joseph, and just swap him out. So, it's going to be interesting to see how Bossman really works his way in there because think about it, Maurice Kennedy haven't done it, and he played lights out all camp. Mayshawn Wright, he hasn't done it, and so I don't think it's really a given as a lot of people thought that Bossman was going to be the cornerback too.
Yeah, because I think like you, corner's probably where I push in my chips and call Belichick, hey, you don't really want Gilmore no more.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Man.
Well, Gilmore probably play outstanding versus us, and then the price will go up or something like that.
No, Gilmore comes back after us because he is on that 6-week IL, so he can't come back to after our game.
Okay, cool. Let me good.
I'm like, just hey, we actually could make that trade during the bye. Hey, come on, Bill, we will give you a second for Gilmore.
Right, let's do that. Let's do that, man.
Honestly, if actually they wanted to touch O-line, the Castro is still out there.
I don't think. To be honest with you, we like the guys in house. You know what it is. They're just not gonna, they're just not fixing to go out here and do anything. And look, and to be honest with you, I can't believe I'm about to say this. I agree. If it ain't broke, don't fix it right now.
Right.
For me, it was always the cornerback position and doing something there. They haven't done anything there. So now it's on to Kelvin, in my estimation, as we were just talking, or y'all were just talking about Kelvin Joseph coming back into the fold and, and stepping up and getting his burns and seeing what's going down. That's just where it is. I think the opportunity to upgrade the quarterback position has came and went. And when you look at the offensive line, barring another injury, I just don't think they're going to dip in there and do anything. I think this is pretty much status quo for what it is. And look, and we talk about the injury, right? We were talking about the early half of the show, these injuries and how we've overcame them, the things that we've done. So, yeah, I just don't see a reason why to. And I love the catcher coming out of the draft, by the way. Fire guy, I definitely liked him. But they're just, you're going to get him and come here and let him play where? He's not going to take over for Martin, right? He's not going to take over for Connor. Now, if there was an available center out there, maybe that's something, obviously Jay talked about a little bit earlier that you would broach, but they're going to look, Stephen Jones, we got that 4th round rookie, 2nd year of his contract. Hey, we're going to just develop our guy, go from there. So yeah, I don't really look for them to make any kind of, unless something goes off the rails with this, offensive line or this defense somewhere, or major injuries happen. Because look, D-Law got hurt, right? There was no panic. They didn't do anything. All the guys that got hurt this week on the defense line that were missing, nothing's happening. So, yeah, guys, I just don't think there's anything they're going to dip out there and do. It would have to take some more dominoes to fall before Steven gets in his bag and do anything. And I definitely don't expect any type of trade scenario that we'll see. Like we've been kind of brushed up in trade scenarios the past couple of years, whether it was Jamal Adams or Minka Fitzpatrick, right? Different things were involved in there. I don't think you're going to hear us really caught up in any of that stuff this year.
Yeah.
Which is something we actually have that we haven't had in years. Depth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where are we? Because if you go down, other than backup quarterback, we are pretty good everywhere else on depth. We may not like all our corners, but you ain't mad that they're out there.
Right.
This is the best we've been at safeties since probably 2004.
Right. And I think that's one of the good things about it, because even Nick's mentioned about the offensive line, if something unfortunate was to happen, we could still make things afloat. It really just comes down to that quarterback position where it falls off a damn cliff.
Yeah, we're not even gonna put that evil in the world. But
right.
Well, and look, and Kennedy got some burns this week, right? And we kind of saw some things from him. Will we see, right? I don't know if we're going to see any right. For me, the cornerback position is tenable as long as Diggs is standing upright.
Right.
And once Diggs goes down, there's nothing really that you're going to be able to do. And then it gets scary. Like, look, if Brown gets hurt, I think we're fine. Look, if if Jordan Lewis gets hurt, I think we're fine, right? We've already suffered the injury, and we're going through the drought with Boss Man Fat. As long as Diggs is there to shadow their number one, I think the secondary is going to be fine, and that's kind of how I think they're thinking. They're not worried about bringing nobody else in here. But boy, if Diggs goes down, and there's no, and look, now, if it's long term and it's before, and if it's before the trade deadline, now that might be something to make them trigger and say, okay, maybe we need to go make a move. But outside of that, I just think there's no way they're going to do anything. Other than what they should do is take some of this money and make sure they lock up a couple of these safeties and keep them in house for the next couple of years.
Right.
Yeah, because if you look at all the safeties,
let's pause that. So, if you had to, which ones do we keep?
$1 million question.
Yeah, I'm not letting Curse go.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. All three of them. We're keeping all of them.
Right.
You already know Curse is the cheapest, so that's who they're gonna talk to first. Hey, come in the office.
Yeah, I feel like Curse deserves to stay. KZ has played well. Hooker. I mean,
you gotta let him play it out, so he's still getting his feet under him, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
There's been some bad.
But I just think if he lasts throughout this season without any injuries, I think that other teams will kind of just want to come in and bring him along. So, how much would his price tag be?
Right. Right.
So if I had to say an odd man out, I think it would be Malik Hooker, but I think Curse goes nowhere. KZ will be in house. What they do with Donovan Wilson?
And you still got Donovan for another season. Yeah, but
another year,
you got him up for another year. But yeah, they need to lock up one or two of them for sure. Now, I would love to keep all three. I don't think it's going to happen. But you never know. It just depends on the market value. And of course, like if you're a KZ in the way he's playing so far, he's not going to sell for no contract right now. None of these, and then Hooker's not going to settle for that until he gets his feet under him and really starts playing to where he feels like he needs to be at. Could you get a Curse locked up for a couple of years possibly now? Maybe, but they're not going to really. This something we'll see like Steven. Second half of the season is maybe where that kind of cooks up a little bit, and you kind of go from there and see again. And hopefully Dan Quinn has a say in what they want to do there and how they want to move when it comes to that. But yeah, man, what a terrible thing it would be to finally have this great safety play this season, right? Good. Well, great for Cowboys Nation. Now I'm not going to everybody else, but for us,
right? It feels like for us, it feels like we got Tyrann Mathieu.
Yeah. We got like 3 honey badgers back there. Is how we're feeling right now. So for us, boy, what a waste if all three of these guys walked out the door next year and we're back to square one with just Donovan Wilson.
Yeah, because this is the bad thing about when you bargain shop. One of the years you were gonna hit, and this seems like the year we are hitting on the guys we picked up. You like,
after last year, man. After last year, luck had to probably be in our favor. So because we damn sure crapped out last year.
Everybody was a miss last year.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think most of us was excited about the free agents we brought in last year. Like, we got Poe, McCoy, we bringing in Everson Griffin. Yeah, we're going to be good.
Yeah, man.
Quentin Dix.
Yeah. And again, Dan Quinn brought in the guys that he wanted to bring in, and they gave him the keys to the city and let him go pick his guys. And we're seeing the difference between a Nolan and what they brought in versus, what Quinn and what he's brought into the fold, right? So, yeah, big time. For sure.
I'm about to say the only thing that really carried over from what Nolan did seems like the turnovers. Because it was like after the Ravens game, it was turnovers galore.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Facts. I don't think anyone had the Cowboys, leading the league in turnovers 3 weeks in. I mean, obviously we all pounded the table for that, right? But like, especially for me, the big thing this preseason, I was like, I don't need this Cowboys Eagles to be the 85 Bears. I don't need them to be the 2000 Ravens. I just need them to be cause turnovers and points per game. I need them to be in the top half of the league. And those, I don't care if you give it 450 yards, just don't give up points and get us timely turnovers. I said, if this team is +8 in the turnover differential, we're a problem in the postseason. That's how I felt. I've said that. And I mean, so far, my goodness. I mean, we know Dak takes care of the ball very well. And so far, so good, right? We're right on mission with that. And the fact that this defense, and not just turnovers anywhere, but taking turnovers, for touchdowns, right? The Diggs house is one. And then you got Casey not just getting a turnover while getting an interception in the end zone. I'm forcing a fumble on inside the 3. They're literally erasing points, from the board for the other team. And that's just huge. And that's something that we haven't had here in Dallas in a long time, man. Again, it's early. They got to keep this thing going and keep this thing moving. But early results and what Dan Quinn's done so far, I mean, you got to give Dan Quinn and this defense an A+ from where they were last year to where they are right now and leading the league in turnovers. You got Diggs was NFC Defensive Player of the Month. Obviously our week or whatever it was. I mean, Parsons could have easily been the defensive rookie as well of the month, but they ended up giving it to somebody's guy here that we kind of pounded the table for. Just imagine, not to bring up wounds, but boy, just imagine if we would have had Parsons the first round and Asante Simeon the second round, we wouldn't be talking about this cornerback position as much. But hopefully, as Joseph gets back, he can contribute as the rest of these other guys will be contributing as well. But yeah, I mean, big shout out to Dan Quinn and what he's done so far in these turnovers, man. They're everything. Hey, man, I mean, those just you got to have them, and it's just been huge for us so far.
Asante has our cornerback too. That'd been so good, man.
You actually know what I like about the defense? Whenever we do have a turnover, they don't fold and give up a touchdown.
Right.
Yeah, big. Yeah. Again,
last year, soon as we gave up a turnover, touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Because we've really only had one a game.
Would you broke up? What'd you say?
Yeah, we only really had one turnover each game, and one of them the defense didn't get back on the field because they Eagles scored.
Right.
But turnover margin.
Yeah, but actually, Dak 2 interceptions. They didn't give up points on either. I don't think
they didn't give up a field goal. I think they gave up a field goal on one of them, if I'm not mistaken. But
Tampa, we Chargers field goal, and then whatever happened in Philly.
Philly. Yeah, that little fumble in the end zone, whatever that thing was. And
they were doing all that sniping.
To win by 20 points, that actually scores a lot closer than actually what the game should have been.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
Right.
I mean, Cooper Rush got in the game. Enough said.
Right.
You know what I mean?
By 20 points, you're like, yeah, we feel good, but you're like, damn, we actually probably could have beat them by 30 or 40 points.
Right. Which would have been nicer, but
Yeah, I mean, right now, right now the Cowboys are tied with the Saints with a +5 in differential. That's huge.
We actually was talking about the Saints earlier versus Carolina. If you look at the Saints offense, that is like the slowest offense in the league.
Yeah, I mean, look, and again, shout out to the Carolina. Here's my thing to take away from the Carolina Saints game is the Saints defense is real in my opinion. We saw what they did against Green Bay. We saw what they did up in New England. I think their defense is supremely legit, and man, they just took that team to task. Offensively. So again, a big kudos to Brady and Matt Rule and what they're doing now. Obviously, they're going to be missing Christian McCaffrey, but I don't think that's really going to stop them in how they want to attack us either. But that's something that stuck out to me. Now, yeah, the Saints offensively, I mean, they're still finding their way. Obviously, they boomed a little bit against Green Bay, drop off against Carolina, but then boomed again for the most part against New England. So, yeah, they're a little up and down and trying to figure their way. To me, though, when we talk about the Carolina game and the Saints game, though, just the way that the defense got taken to task. The Saints defense that is by this Panther offense. I was like, okay, like my perked up, especially in the first half. Now the second half, the Saints kind of controlled it a little bit more and kind of made the adjustments they needed to make, but the damage was kind of done, right? And their offense again couldn't do much against the Carolina defense. Again, Carolina's a sneaky team.
Right.
They're sneaky. I think a lot of people think about, well, they got Sam Darnold and whatever they were last year. But this, again, this team is much better than I think a lot of people are really willing to give them credit for. And this is, to me, this is the ultimate. This is the ultimate. See, everyone thought the Philly game was a trap game. See, to me, this feels like a trap game. Right? It's they don't have Christian McCaffrey, JC Horn's out. They kind of those things they haven't played nobody, right? The Cowboys maybe try to smell the roses because, oh my God, here's come the cow, So
it's at noon, yeah.
So it definitely feels like one of those a trap possibility here with a team, and it shouldn't be because they're 3-0.
3-0.
They're 3-0, right?
But this almost feels like the Rams game in 2017. They was 3-0. He was like, what actually do we really know about them?
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we jumped off on them early. Then what's his name had the fumble on the punt return, and it flipped the whole game.
It's true.
Right.
Don't start talking about special teams, man. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't. I'm still. I'm not great on our special teams currently. So, but yeah, man, I'm very intrigued by this game for all the reasons we've mentioned already. And again, the biggest thing that I think's the difference is number 4 behind center and the way he's getting the ball out and the way that he's leading right now and whatnot. So I think this is why, although I think that it's possibly a trap game, I don't think 4 is going to allow the team to fall into that trap. Is where I'm at.
Yeah, I actually think the best thing about this game is Carolina being undefeated. Mm-hmm. Now, if they was 1-2, I think they'll go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Even though we may not like who Carolina's beat, 3-0 is 3-0. Because ain't nobody crying about the Broncos. Because ain't nobody the Broncos play got to win yet.
Right.
So 3-0 is 3-0. I mean, Carolina beat the Saints, who's 2-1.
And came off a good win versus the Packers there, because the Saints were coming in flying high. But, it's that's what I'm saying. Any given Sunday, man, so you got to step up to challenge. But I agree with Nick's. Dak's going to have us ready. So I think this is going to be a kind of a game where we can kind of see this culture start to shift because historically, like I said, this is a game where I'm like, we're going to be in trouble because we ain't going to come out there and lollygag around. But I don't think Dak Prescott's going to let us. So we'll be ready.
And you actually know who isn't getting a lot of credit. Kellen Moore's first and 20 pieces money.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, a lot of Cowboys Nation is ready to fire Mike McCarthy right now and promote Kellen Moore. So,
Cowboys change, man.
Yeah, I was going to say, in Cowboy Nation, I mean, I've already heard, oh, my God, after week 1, it was fire Kellen Moore. But ever since, it's like, oh, my God, if Kellen Moore leaves, this whole thing's going to go off the track and we're in trouble. And I'm like, guys, it's week 2. Let's just enjoy the ride a little bit, man. Let's enjoy being 2-1 and what's going on right now. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, man. It's a long season. It's a long season, man. We got 14 games left in this thing and the bye week to throw in there as well. Let's enjoy it right now. Look, rough stretches are going to come. It comes with any season. But right now, let's enjoy what's happening, what's going on. But, yeah, I'm with you, though. Maybe outside of Cowboys Nation, maybe Kellen's not getting enough of the pop or whatever that maybe he should. But yeah, no, Kellen has definitely been dialing it up and it's been locked in. And again, the chains have been removed, right? Like last year, we didn't get to see Kellen unleashed because Dak was gone, and now we're getting to see him, do that because Dak is here in house and doing what he needs to do.
Because if you look at it, the first drive versus the Bucs, we actually probably should have won the score, but CD dropped 2 passes, which stalled that drive.
Yeah, I mean. The first one I don't get. I mean, it was a little short-armed. He was kind of falling down. So I don't put that all the way on CD. Now, the second one, he's got to catch the second one for sure. I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's got to catch that one. But the one thing I will say, CD had some issues with that last year. Obviously, he had issues with that with Tampa. But he's been lights out and not really dropped. He's caught everything ever since then. So, corrected that and has moved forward.
I think if we can go and get an opening drive TD again, I think that'll set a big tone because having nobody really been scoring versus Carolina.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, the script is everything because Kellen's basically going to script that thing up and basically kind of is going to dial it up what's working, what's not working, and then he's really going to throw the meat to it and go from there.
Because if you look at it, really all 3 games, even though we only scored 20 versus the Chargers, they didn't really stop us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Tampa Bay never stopped us. Like, we pretty much really not been stopped for the most part.
Yeah.
We've had how many 3-and-outs? Maybe a few.
Yeah, I mean, we had an untimely one in Tampa. Whenever we got the immediate turnover, could have went down and did something, things kind of came back. But yeah, I mean, overall, man, this offense has been cooking. I mean, there's, again, that's one of the special things about this matchup coming up with, the top 10 defense from them, the top 10 offense from us. Someone's got to bend the knee, right? And we're going to see, which team that is.
This would be I think this would be a big coup game.
It should be healthy now from the cracked rib, so you might not be wrong there.
It could be good.
Because to me, Jackson, if Jackson's covering, you can move Jackson up and down the field.
Right.
You ain't gonna worry about Jackson, but you can double move him.
Yeah. Yeah, let's see where the Cowboys are. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, number 5 right now, offensively, team offense right now, number 5.
And was the Panthers the number 1 defense?
They might be.
Or 8.
I'll say right now. Yeah, they're number 1.
Number 1 scoring defense.
Number 1. Yeah, scoring defense. Yeah, or second in points allowed.
Hold on. Let me look at this yardage though. Look at this yardage though. Carolina number 1 in yardage though too, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Carolina's giving up less than 200 yards a game.
Right.
Less than 200.
But a lot of that was due to Zach Wilson.
No, well, hey, I don't think. Hey, man, I was gonna say I don't think New Orleans really moved the ball much either, though. To be honest with you,
their run defense, I think it averaged like 45 yards per game. So
right. So yeah,
I think we can run on them. I think we can run on them because
yeah, I mean, Martin's back. You have to test it because Martin's back. You definitely, this is a situation where Martin's out as, Vita Vea and, different things, you're kind of cooking and things are going right now. So, I mean, you have to test it. But I think this is just one of those opportunities where, as much as they like to blitz, okay, you get into those nice quick swing passes to Pollard, or you get the nice little quick screen pass out there to Lamb, get it to your playmakers in space and let them go eat. And those kind of things, they're an extension of the run game. Those are just like long handoffs, basically. You're not looking to go get a home run out of it. If you do happen to get one, great. But okay, I'm trying to get, 4 or 5, maybe 6 yards out of this play like a regular run play. But for sure, the way things are cooking right now, and the big thing that they've been talking about is the tempo that the Cowboys have been playing with. And Schultz spoke about it. Zeke spoke about it. Zeke was like, yeah, man, you get a little winded, but then you look across the other side and you see like they're kind of on the ground and their hands are on their knees. And you're like, oh yeah, we're about to, go. And then, Schultz even kind of mentioned it as well too. He's like, when you see the defense really kind of getting gassed and, it's kind of will versus will, but you're still got a little breath in you, so tempo, definitely a big thing that they're using. And something that here, especially with their blitzing and stuff like that, they can really take advantage of it this week. But you got to get first downs to do tempo.
Right.
Can't be going 3 and ain't much tempo with 3-and-outs.
Definitely not. What is the matchup to watch you think on each side? To me, actually, offense is stopping Brown on the interior D line because if he can penetrate, we gonna have some issues.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And of course, defense to me is Diggs and DJ Moore.
Yeah, Diggs and Moore is the matchup to watch for me personally. So,
I mean, for me, I'm just going to go. How do we stop the run game? I think they're really going to try to punch us. I really, really do, because no one's really just win us that way. And look, in all the games, like we barely won one, but we barely lost one, we could have won. so on and so forth. I really think Carolina's going to kind of, even though, and I think from them, they think it's a mindset of, well, Christian is not here, so they might not expect it as much. So for me, I think they're really going to try to pound us in the mouth, and how we stop the run early, I think will dictate the rest of it, for me on that side of the ball. So I'm looking at, Osa, Urban, those guys in the middle, the guys on the edge, setting the edge, with this run, this two-headed monster that they're going to try to deploy with Freeman and the rookie. So yeah, can we stop the run? Because to me, I'm not, no disrespect to Sam Darnold, right? And at all. But to me, if we're able to stop the run and I think again gets very hard for Carolina. If they're able to run the ball, we might be in for a long day. But if we're able to stop the run, I think this game gets very hard for Carolina quickly.
Right.
Yeah, this is definitely a game you want to go up two scores quick. I don't see their offense as the offense that will come back on you.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. They like to play at their own pace. Grind it out a little bit here and there. Be a little bit methodical. And things of that ilk. So I definitely agree with you there, Elton.
Because they actually want to keep their defense in striking range.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
unleash them beasts.
So I mean, I'm actually looking forward to it because I got a lot of Panthers fans talking shit right now. I'm like, please let's beat them. I'm like this. We don't even know you guys. Don't even talk to us.
Right.
Well, we giving you guys.
They all come for us, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, so I actually definitely want to win just for that. I'm like, I got too many Panthers fans chirping right now. I'm like, y'all ain't allowed. Leave me alone.
Oh man, the Cowboys bring them out. You know what it is. We bring them out. They'll be quiet all year. When they play the Cowboys, they be popping up on us.
Right.
Predictions.
Tuck, you got a little prediction?
Not yet, man. I haven't got to prediction mode yet because I'm still keeping my fingers crossed. I'm looking at this injury reports and everything. So far so good. But I think the Cowboys are going to win. I would say, what am I looking at? 27, 21 as of right now.
We almost in the same ballpark.
Yeah. I think Dallas is going to get to 30. This is all again goes back to who's going to make who bend their knee, right? And I just right now the way that this offense is cooking, and again no disrespect to their front because it'll be the best front that we played. But man, I just believe in four, man. I said it before the season when Zach Martin was out and everyone, the sky was falling. I was like, man, is four playing? Man, if four's playing, I like my chances. And man, I think four is just it's a different mindset. It's a different temperament from him. And you hear from his teammates and different things and just how quick he's getting the ball. I mean, my goodness. I mean, the first quarterback since Troy, but they have 80% completion percentages of back-to-back weeks. I just think the way that he's dialed in right now, man, I think it's 31. I think they get up. They're able to hold the run. I like 31. I think 31-17, maybe 31-20 Cowboys.
I am with you. I actually tell everybody as long as Dak is playing, it ain't a team I am scared to play. We gonna have a chance. We ain't gonna win them all, but I already know we actually got a chance.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, I actually got it being close. I actually think we'll win 24-21.
Yeah, it's a tough team. Yeah, it's a tough team. Much tougher if McCaffrey and J.C. Horn was out there. Could have been much tougher if they would have took Slater instead of Cam Irving over there instead of J.C. Horn. But hey, it is what it is. we like Cam Irving. We like our chances with Cam Irving versus Randy Gregory or Michael Parsons.
Me too. To me, Donald's getting sacked a lot, so I actually think we'll be able to get to him. He isn't making errant throws that he was making it with on the Jets, which is probably the only difference.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I think we pretty much went over everything. So
Mark.
it was a great show.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on, man.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you guys coming on. I will come on in and you guys shows anytime.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Appreciate you as always, man.
You part of the pitch train, man.
Yeah. You know what I
mean? Yeah, so all you Pitts haters, don't worry.
We know.
We can send that second round pick to Atlanta next year for Pitts.
Yeah, right. We can't get all of our wishes, but well, look, here's what I'll promise everybody that sees this. I don't care what year we're drafting, whoever the best player is, where we're at, man, I'm going to shoot for him. Y'all can be mad at me all y'all want to, and grill me for it and come back later and all this and that. It doesn't matter. I'm never going to apologize for it. I'm always stand on it. So, I mean, I'm having a good time with it, and hey, I feel sorry my guy had to go to Atlanta with a washed-up quarterback and they can't get him to rock.
Me too. Well, I will be the first to say I didn't want Parsons, because I didn't think he was good. I didn't think we would use him right. I was like, I ain't gonna need to use him, and they ain't gonna use him right. And that shocked the hell out of me that they're using him. I'm like, hell, I'm fine with it now. I'm like, but actually, once they drafted him, it was no need to bitch no more. He is here. Right. All right, I'm gonna have to root for him.
Move on.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got to root for him now. He's here. It don't matter. Yep. So, thank everybody who watched the show, and I'll be back Sunday with the post game.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate everybody. Have a good one.
Cowboys.